I am the PRISM Club advisor. PRISM is a nationally registered GSA, or Gender Sexuality Alliance. At the March 6th board meeting, a resident said, quote, "There are only two genders. You cannot become a girl or a boy," end quote. Comments like this directly harmed students at Roxbury High School who are still trying to understand who they are and find themselves as young adults. Stating this comment in a public forum where the Roxbury trans community has access to it spreads animosity and division towards an already marginalized group of people. As educators, we are conscious of the way we frame our words, and I would ask that the public commenting in this school board forum will also frame their words in a way that does not spread dangerous or damaging opinions about our LGBTQIA+ student body at RHS. I am here to represent some of my students who are at risk of being endangered by the direction the banned book conversation feels like it is heading. I would like to share some of their comments on how it feels to have such a diverse and inclusive high school library. These students are either members of the LGBTQIA+ community or allies with it. They are not here today for the safety of their mental health. Here is what they have to say. Quote, "Having LGBTQ+ books in the library makes me feel seen," end quote. Quote, "Having books that are so inclusive is important to me because it makes me feel seen and represented," end quote. Quote, "To have books that make communities feel included could give people the chance to be themselves. These books let people relate to them when they are at their lowest point. Many of these give examples that give realistic problems others deal with in order to help someone," end quote. Quote, "Having LGBTQIA+ books in our library makes me feel included and seen in this world. It unalienates me from my fellow students and the community as a whole. It also allows me to better empathize with other members of the Roxbury community, especially those in the LGBTQIA+ community," end quote. Quote, "I believe it's important to have these books. It's important to become aware and continue to spread acknowledgement towards the queer community. Expressing equality towards that community allows continued normality and change in oppression and prejudice," end quote. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Adam Glover, and I live in Mount Tabor. And we hear it said by many of the people who are trying to tell parents what their kids can read and schools what their staff can teach, that they want your kids learning how to think, not what to think. But the school library is the very definition of kids figuring out how to pursue knowledge and put together their own ideas. It's where you go to look up what you want to learn, and that helps kids give kids the appetite for the textbooks that they're assigned in the classroom too. The school library is where I went as a kid to learn about the planets, the ancient myths, how people far away from me lived. And it's where I could travel through time to read articles about things I'd only ever heard of by people who lived through them. It was also a place where a kid like me could hide away from bullies and do what I was actually in school to do. I bet some of those bullies grew up to be the kind of people who are trying to take all that away from all of us now. But I'd rather have any kids of mine under the guidance of real role models like Roxana Cavano and librarians all across the country. These are mentors who want kids to grow up with the understanding it takes to live with other people in this world and the confidence to be themselves. Because make no mistake, the book banners may be targeting these adults who actually work with and care about kids every day, but it's really just a way to attack the kids themselves. Kids who don't fit their idea of what's normal or don't look like they do. They know what's best for your kid, though I don't think they know the history of our own country or the meaning of those words they throw around like freedom and liberty while they're trying to dictate for everyone else. They banned and burned books in Germany before they started gassing and burning human beings over the top. And as a Jew, I would have been one of those people. Now all the books on the list of what we're not allowed to read are about queer people and people of color, usually by young people and for young people who want to understand each other or themselves. It's what I learned from books like Beloved and writers like James Baldwin when I was in school. To feel bad about what was done to people who don't look like you isn't the same as making you feel bad about yourself. It's just making you a person who feels. To learn about someone who's different than you isn't to be indoctrinated into being like them. It's to realize that you can both be yourself. If you don't want to think or feel, that's your business. If you want to raise your own kids that way, that's a tragedy. If you want everyone else to live that way, you don't know what America means. And it's an education the majority of us who do.
30 seconds.
And the wise kids who represent this country's future are going to have to teach you. Thanks.
Could you hold 1 second? I'm going to get to the next slide.